is it ruining our dating lives?
Yeah.
Like, are you putting too much pressure on finding the one?
This idea that there's one person that defies all odds, our twin flame, our lover, our soulmate, our best friend, all wrapped in one, has a bit of a negative impact, I think, on the way we date.
I feel like we all have that one friend who every year they're like, I found the one, I found my soulmate.
Hi, I'm Dee Salmon, and I, after 15 years, have bought a new perfume. I found a new scent.
15 years?
Yes, I've worn the same perfume for 15 years.
Wow.
And I just made Pip smell it before.
Give
and
me
what did
another
you do?
sniff. Give me
what
another
did you
sniff.
do?
I said it smells like frangipani.
And I said that's cheap. And this was a really, really expensive perfume that I spent weeks deciding on.
Weeks. Wow. I don't have a signature scent. Hi, I'm Pip Rasmussen and I don't have a signature scent.
What do you mean?
So my mum bought me a perfume like maybe when I was like a teenager and I was like, all right, cool. And I haven't bought a new thing. I don't know.
That's your signature scent then? What do you mean? If you've had the same smell since you were a teenager, then that's your signature scent.
I just want to tell you that the perfume that you bought, I'm so glad that you didn't choose the one that I wanted from the same brand because I was like, that's my dream signature scent. I have to save up my pocket money to get it.
It's really expensive, which is why when you said it smelled like frangipani, I was
you were like, fuck you, bitch. I'm sorry, but like.
I better go to just like the chemist and buy the $20 cheap one because it's pretty much the same thing apparently.
Wow.
Yeah.
I just want to say to
I'm
anyone
offended.
listening who has a frangipani scented $20 from whatever chemist, well, I see you and I hear you and I think it's a gorgeous scent. And actually, Dee, you're giving. What is this? You turn up to work in your fucking pajamas, your silk jammies.
Yeah. And it's the perfume. It's changed me.
Yeah, I can tell.
I paid a lot of money for it. Now I'm trying to dress like
Honestly,
I
look.
have an expensive set.
Let me say, it does smell really good. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend you.
Thank you. I'm going to have to go around the office next and try and find someone to say they think I smell really nice. So I can save this.
Yeah. I think so. Look, this is the hookup. This is where we talk all things love, sex, dating, and relationships.
Yeah, it's not a perfume show. Sorry.
No, sorry about that. But this episode, we've been wanting to do this for a little while. It's something that had been thrown around in the open plan office.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we decided to do it because we saw a quote that we thought was really interesting. It says, if soulmates exist, they're not found, they're made. And this is something that we were like, oh, soulmates. Let's discuss like the concept of that because I think even with modern dating, people have not really let go of the idea of the one or this person that they're like destined to be with.
We've mentioned it a few times now on the hookup, but like shows like Love is Blind, Maths, there's even one called The One. Like there's still such a strong push for these reality TV shows and we eat them up. And we eat up this idea that there is this perfect person for us, right? This soulmate, this person that like despite all odds we find, and that's like this crazy coincidence, and that just must mean that they're like the soul that'll be tied to us forever.
Yes. So in this episode, we're going to find out what exactly it means to find or have a soulmate.
Yeah, whether or not you believe in it.
Yeah.
Like does a soulmate actually exist?
Can you have multiple ones? Does it have to be romantic? And maybe whether or not soulmates and dating to find the one is actually a good idea.
So I think it's worth, before we get real deep in like to the 2 a.m. kick-ons territory of like
Out on the milk crate.
what the fuck is a soulmate?
What is a soul?
I think it's worth kind of defining it and looking at what stereotypically you might find online, right? So yeah, Pip and I looked this up. Was this Wikifeet? Was it not Wikifeet? Is this Wikipedia?
Did you say Wikifeet?
Sorry, I just looked at your foot and I said.
Did you say Wikifeet? I'm like a sleeper agent being like,
every time
Wikifeet. You know that's my trigger word.
I just think of anything to do with Wiki and you.
We actually haven't brought up my Wikifeet in so long.
I did that for
Thank
you.
you.
I did it on purpose.
Anyway,
I think this is from Wikipedia. Basically, the word itself, soulmate, was first recorded in a letter in 1822 by the poet Samuel Taylor Coleridge. But this concept and this idea of a soulmate, of someone being someone else's other half, actually originated in ancient Greece with Plato's Symposium. So it was this myth where humans were split by the gods. This story, you might have heard it before. It's, in quite a lot of literature, but basically humans were split by the gods into two, and it created this universal yearning for the other lost half. It was this idea that you would spend the rest of your life trying to find your soulmate, your other person, to make you whole.
Which is interesting because you might be listening to this and you might be really soulmate pilled and you'd be like, that sounds like a twin flame.
Which we will get to.
Which we will.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people use these terms interchangeably, right? Twin flame, soulmate, other half, the one. So when you're listening to this pod, I think just take all of it into your understanding of it, because as we're about to find out, there are so many different ways people view and feel like they found their soulmate or the one.
How would you, okay, because when we decided we were doing this episode, we got really confused. Like, I feel like you and I just we understand what a soulmate is, but then at the same time, I couldn't really define it for myself. Like, how would you define it?
Well, I think there's something kind of spiritual about it. I think there's something kind of like deep intrinsic, but then we get into like the whole can of worms of like, what do we have souls? Like, I personally don't think I have a soul. I think like humans in general are just like a consciousness and we go around and we do our thing, and when we pass, it's not like there's this like ghostly version of myself that like is different from my body. It's all in my brain. So we don't have time to get into like the whole.
Yeah, I was like, we got to 2 a.m. real quick.
We did. Can we confirm the existence of a soul in this podcast? No. But I think a soulmate in general is like something kind of like a spiritual tie to someone, like maybe like the red string kind of theory, like things falling into place and meeting that person. And just like, I don't know, there's something, a higher level of connection than a normal I'm in love with you partner or friend person.
Yep, I like that. I like that.
Some kind of higher level. And I think when we go through this, like we'll hear people who don't see it as a spiritual thing at all. It's more just like someone who like sees you completely.
Yeah.
And that's how they define a soulmate. But what about you?
I do think I'm similar to you. I think the soulmate is the person that you meet and you just go like, we were destined to meet each other. And it's a higher connection, a deeper connection that you just go, the universe had a plan. I was destined to meet you, and we understand each other on a level that is beyond the mind. Like, it's like,
Yeah.
it is more spiritual. It's like, yeah, like you connect to my soul.
Which is interesting because as you might have figured out and what we've mentioned is that we're going to get into the whole like soulmates aren't discovered, they're built.
Which is what some people believe.
Exactly.
But yeah, it was really interesting because I like still am quite confused around what I think a soulmate is. And I was running into work. I said goodbye to my partner, kissed him, ran into work. And then like as I was coming in, I called him and I was like, wait, babe, I forgot to ask you.
Are you my soulmate?
I was like, do you believe in soulmates? And he was
Just
like,
quickly.
Just quickly. I was like, do you believe in soulmates? And he was like, I don't think he does. He was like, no. And I was like, well, I'm going to go jump off this bridge. And I was crossing the bridge. No, I was like, because I don't know, like we wouldn't call each other soulmates.
Yes.
And we kind of spoke about the fact that like, how can the person that you went to high school that you lived next door to be your soulmate? You know, some people are like, I can't believe I met my soulmate. And it's like, well, why was your soulmate 2 blocks away?
Yeah, because it kind of almost lessens the value of the soulmate.
Yeah.
It feels like if you were to find your soulmate on a backpacking trip in India and like you're like, oh my God, how is it that I've met this person that I just gel with so much and it was meant to be? Yeah.
And there's something otherworldly about this person.
Totally. Rather than
that gives like for me, using the term soulmate definitely works to describe those kind of connections.
Yeah, it's interesting how the word is going to like mean something different for everybody. And we heard from you at Triple J the Hookup. You DM'd us and Ben said a soulmate is a person that you cannot live without and you both feel the same way about each other. Anna says a deep understanding and acceptance of each other with total love and respect. And Zali says it's a true understanding of one another in ways that no one else can understand or view your soul, judgment-free and easy for them.
Oh, I like that. Well, what was really interesting, because as per usual, we put up a poll at Triple J the Hookup and we asked you, do you think soulmates are real? I was really surprised by this.
Me too.
57% of you said yes.
You guys are so whimsical.
I was like, that's
so
so 60% of you
whimsy.
saying that you believe in soulmates. Like, that is really beautiful.
Which is why I think we can come back to the thing of like, a lot of us have been fed this kind of like Disney concept of like the one and soulmates, and it's beautiful and whimsy and stuff. But again, it's like with modern dating, like we kind of know it's a numbers game, and I know that like that's so pervasive, right? But we still feel in our heart of hearts that we want a soulmate to exist.
Well, we've spoken about this heaps on the hookup, but like we're in the post-romantic era. People aren't really, like investing in romance as much. We're more likely to be single, focusing on our friendships, ourselves. And so that was surprising, I'm not going to lie, because I feel like I'm quite cynical in love.
Me
and
too.
I feel like a lot of you are quite, not cynical, but like you're realists. Like I feel like from having done the show for years, everyone that we speak to is quite like, we talk to people who are poly, we chat to people who understand that there's so many different connections you can have and there's fluidity and whatever. And then so I'm like, wow, you be searching for the one.
Yeah, exactly. I was surprised by it too. But, obviously 43% of you said, no, I don't think it's real. We got a DM from Kieran saying, no such thing. We build relationships. Soulmates imply that they're perfect without work. And Tia saying, it might be nice to think that there are soulmates, but it's BS. You're better off being realistic instead of daydreaming of the one. We also got this voice memo from Eden.
I don't believe in soulmates because you're putting a very fallible human being up on a pedestal that I don't think should ever exist for human beings, I think it's okay to love someone truly and deeply, and I believe in your love being, your bestest friend in the whole wide world, but I can't count the amount of times I've believed I've found my soulmate, let alone people around me believe that they've found their soulmates.
Okay, that resonates with me. I feel like we all have that one friend who every year, like maybe once or twice a year, they're like, I found the one, I found my soulmate. And you're like, but you found them last year and the year before that. And also that other time when you were backpacking in India. Like, you know what I mean? So I totally know what Eden's
The
saying.
friends that fall really quickly.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, this is the one.
They be handing out soulmates way too quickly.
I know.
Yeah,
I know. And that's what I think. It's like, you can tell why, like hearing Eden speak, like some people do become cynical because maybe they are surrounded by people who use the term a lot and they just like roll their eyes because they're like, if soulmates were real, old mate from down the road wouldn't be your soulmate.
Exactly. But obviously heaps of you said that you thought it was real. So almost 60% of you said this. So we were kind of like, okay, what does it look and feel like to find your soulmate? Because like I think I've like not necessarily run into a romantic soulmate, but a lot of you have. So Ash said, I knew the moment I met my partner and 6 years later, I'm still sure. But like, what is it, Ash?
Ash, what do you mean? What did you know when you knew in the moment?
I know. But we got this voice memo from Megan talking about her soulmate experience.
When I was growing up, I actually thought soulmates and being in love was just a complete bullshit, as I'd watched my parents separate, which had really affected me. I didn't think it was really possible to really love someone that much as though you felt like your souls were tied together. But in saying that, I've been with my partner for almost 6 years now. We've been together through literally everything. We've grown stronger and closer in situations that could have easily torn us apart. He's seen me at my worst and my best, and when we're apart, I feel like part of me is genuinely missing. I feel a warmth in my heart from just simply looking at him, and that's how I knew that we were soulmates.
Oh,
That's really sweet.
that's really nice. See, I've had those feelings before, but I wouldn't necessarily call
used
them
the
a
term
soulmate.
soulmate.
But when you like see the person and they're literally like, I don't know, they're like asleep on the couch after watching a TV show and you're literally like, my heart, my soul.
I wonder if it's that we don't have a word to describe those feelings. Like obviously there's love and like there's so many, ways that you could be like, yeah, like my heart, blah, blah, blah. But like maybe it's because we're searching for something that gives it a higher value to describe what we're feeling.
Yeah.
And I wonder if you have to be more like spiritually inclined.
True.
Do you know what I mean? Because I feel like some people will describe a soulmate as like in past lives or other worlds, or like I want our souls to be tied together as we pass away. And like there's a lot of that to describe soulmates?
Well, we had a lot of DMs of people saying that. So Ishara
yeah.
saying, I found my soulmate. It's like an otherworldly connection.
yeah.
This other girl, D, not you, different D, shout out. They said they're people that you've known before, past lives reconnecting.
Yeah, exactly. It's like maybe we're not spiritual enough.
Yeah, maybe. Well, there's something that was a common theme that came up in our DMs were people meeting their soulmates by pure chance, like a sliding doors moment. And this is what happened to Beck.
Chris and I met just over 7 years ago, and I was studying my master's at the time. I was going to my first day of placement, but unfortunately I slept in and checked how to get to my placement location, and I was going to have to get 2 buses and a train, so I decided to book an Uber instead. And my Uber driver ended up being Chris. We had a 45-minute drive to get to the hospital I was going to, and the connection was just instant. We spent the whole time talking. It was just like an instant sense of calm and comfort and excitement. We ended up going on our first date that night, and we spent the next 3 nights together. 7 years later, we're married, and I love him more and more every day. I think a soulmate is, someone that you just can't see your life without. They complete you in a way, and Chris is my person.
Wow. Imagine if she put her preferences to no talking.
I'd like a quiet ride, please. That's crazy. But that's the thing, right? So like all those factors of her sleeping in, not getting the public transport, him being like, I could have taken any other job. Like,
Also, Uber driver is so random.
It is so strange. And to think that they had this instant connection. And I love the way she described it. Like there were so many things I was like, oh, okay, I'm kind of understanding what a soulmate is. And I kind of really believe that this might be yours. And I think something that like kept coming up with this was this, as I said, the sliding door moment, the chance of it all. Like if you hadn't have been there at the right time, you never would have met this person. And that's kind of how I feel about like my best friend. And I have a lot of best friends, but like one of my MVPs, ride or dies, is my friend Elias. And I kind of feel like we have like a bit of a soul connection. And I think it's really heightened because there were so many random factors as to how we met. Like we shouldn't have met, but we did.
The preciousness of every single thing falling into place, I guess, makes it feel so much more sacred.
Yes.
And you need that sacred term.
Yeah.
Because you can't just be like, my best friend.
Yeah.
It's like, no, this is bigger than a best friend.
Yeah, it is.
It's so much more special.
Yeah.
And so you need a term. And it is true. I feel like so many of you in our DMs were like, I believe in soulmates, but that doesn't mean romantic partners.
Maybe
It's
that's
like,
why it was so high. Because
people
like,
were genuinely being like,
my platonic best friend.
We put up a poll and we said, does a soulmate have to be a romantic partner? Only 19% of you said yes. 81% of you said no, which is so huge. Sophie says soulmates are 100% platonic relationships. Rach as well, he's saying my soulmate isn't a man or a romantic partner. It's my best girlfriend. A man could never. And Chris as well saying one of my besties is my soulmate. I know they will always be by my side for the rest of my life.
I love that. And we also got this one from Kelly.
I know without a doubt that my best friend is my soulmate. We realised it years ago in a kind of messy, drunken, emotional moment, but over time it's only become more clear. We've been through everything together from early teenage chaos to our mid-20s now. She's had serious romantic relationships and even then pulled me aside to be like, no, you're still my soulmate. We're both dating now and it's kind of a double-edged sword. We've been liberated from that pressure of finding the one because I already have her, but it also raises the bar. Like I doubt anyone will ever quite reach that same level of resonance, laughter, safety and soul recognition. And that can be a hard act to follow. It sets a high standard, but it also means that I won't settle for anything less in a romantic relationship.
Okay, I feel kind of torn about this actually.
What do you feel?
I feel like everything she was saying about how her soulmate has raised the bar and has like really given her this kind of clear picture of unconditional love. This is what I would want in a romantic partner. I think that's so awesome and I love that so much. But if you were then to start dating Kelly and you heard this episode and heard her talking about it and being like, no one will ever compare to my best friend. And when she said, oh, even when my best friend was in serious relationships, she was like, don't worry, you're still my soulmate.
Yeah.
It's a little grim for that person, don't you think?
Well, yeah. I guess it depends what the other person is dating for.
Yeah.
Because if you are also someone who has the same idea about soulmates and dating, like if you were someone that was like, oh, I'm just looking for someone that like we can have fun with and we have a connection, but like we're both really independent and you've got your other soulmate and like you've got others, you know what I mean? It might work.
Yeah.
But if you are someone who believes in soulmates only being romantic and you're like, I want to find my other half, my person above everyone else and get married and blah, 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 then you would probably feel a bit like, well, what's the point?
Yeah.
You've already got your soulmate.
Yeah. It sounds like maybe I could be putting words into her mouth, but it's like maybe you're not open to ever feeling like you'd ever have that with a partner, like a romantic partner. And like comparing it maybe is not the best thing. Like we did a whole episode about like, should your partner be your best friend? Kind of reminds me a little bit of that, where it's like, are they two separate roles or are they meant to be folded into one?
And then if we think about the original definition of a soulmate, right, when we go back to like ancient Greece, and it's a soul split in two and you're spending the rest of your life searching for that other half, that to me doesn't feel like a friendship. Like I don't spend my life looking for my other half as in a friend. Like my friends probably like are all soulmates and I love all my best friends and that kind of thing. But like, I don't know. It's just like this idea of like searching for a part of me in a friend I don't do.
Yeah.
But you might do that with a partner.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
You is it kind of like the whole like love hierarchy, relationship hierarchy sort of thing?
It's like we think about romantic partners as like the most like top tier of all love and the most like,
and they have to be everything.
and they have to be kind of everything or your other half and the person that you like tie yourself with to the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't see friends like that. There's less pressure in friendships.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I agree with that. Yep.
Like they're not as romanticized.
Yeah. And this is not me shading anyone who has platonic soulmates.
Babe, you literally
I literally just
said you do.
I just found it interesting the way that she was speaking about that. And I was like, I wonder how it feels to date someone who's like, you'll never compare. And I've already found my soulmate. You know, like, I don't know. By the way, if you're just listening, I gave the bird the finger.
Yeah.
You should watch us, by the way. We are on Spotify and on YouTube, on the Triple J
Love
YouTube.
that. Shout out.
Plug.
What was really interesting though, Pip, which kind of threw me a bit when we looked at our DMs, was that like some people didn't even, like people extended it past friendships and had other people they considered their soulmates. So Holly DM'd us saying soulmates are the ones who truly see you for who you are. Mine will always be my gran.
Oh, okay. Obsessed with that. You know, even people were saying that you have had animals as soulmates as well. So Cece saying, I think of my dog as my soulmate. And we had this all-time, maybe my favorite DM of the year from Jay saying, I had a chicken once who was a soul connection for want of a better word. Loved her dearly. Wrap it up. Like that is, I love it. I think it's kind of crazy and a little bit like, do I believe that you could have a soulmate chicken?
Absolutely.
But I'm holding space for that.
Babe, have you watched My Octopus Teacher?
Yeah, I
now
have
that was
actually.
a soulmate.
That was a soul
that man's
connection.
soul connection.
A soul connection with an animal is so legit though. Like I think like I've asked a few people, you know, well, who's your soulmate? And a couple of people did say that their dogs were their soulmates.
Why is no one saying cats?
Yeah, what the fuck?
Shut up, Macy Gray.
Shut up,
You're my
Macy.
soulmate.
Yeah, so it is interesting. Like, it's so beautiful to think that this word can be applied in so many different ways, which makes it so hard and nuanced for us to define what it is.
Well,
and
that
everything
makes me think that soulmate really is a term that is more spiritual than just like a connection, right? Because you're not having a conversation with a chicken. So it's not even like I feel so like we just get along so well, like we are like two halves. It's like it's spiritual for people. The fact that you are having some sort of connection that's transpiring between you and a chicken, like that is otherworldly.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's deeper. There's something deeper happening there that just like we have mad chats. Do you know?
I talk to my
They
chicken.
just get
They
me.
do not. They get me. Okay, next question. We wanted to know, do you think you can have multiple soul connections, the ones soulmates? A few people here saying that there's only one soulmate for everyone. That's what Kim said. But most of you reckon that you actually can have multiples. Cozzy here thinks that I've already had a few and I feel like there will be more. And I loved this one from Dom saying, I'm a firm believer in a person can be your soulmate for this moment or a period in your life. But sometimes it may be their time to go as it all changes and another one will move in at some point. And we all go through life having soulmates move in and out.
When I call my partner, when I was telling you about one before,
Yeah.
he did say, like, I don't think we have soulmates, but I do think we can have really strong connections with multiple people throughout our life. And I was like,
Oh,
excuse me?
So what the fuck am I?
Yeah.
Just
literally.
one of many. It does does it lessen the meaning of a soulmate if you have multiple? It's like, is it less special?
I feel like it is.
It could be.
But then at the same time, it's kind of like, I think it's Sex and the City, Carrie Bradshaw's like, my best friends are my soulmates. And so she obviously has 3 best friends.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that makes sense. Do you know what I mean?
I still think you shouldn't throw out the word willy-nilly. I don't know. And I agree with what Dom's saying. I think that there can be periods of it. I like that. It kind of sounds like a rental. But I'd like to think that my OG soulmates don't just go away. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd like to think that they remain my soulmate.
I think I'm definitely in the camp of there are multiple. I don't think there's one person. I don't believe in the plateaus, like a one soul split in half.
Yeah.
Trying to find your other half. Like, I don't believe in that.
Yeah.
I think, there's multiple people that you'll feel really strongly connected to.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think there's the one.
Shout out to our poly friends. I know that
yeah.
you're listening here and you're probably like, duh, like, of course, I can love multiple people at one
Yeah.
time. And that in itself can be kind of a hard concept for some people who might be a little heteronormative, like straight and narrow. Like that in itself, they're like, nah, I couldn't. And it's like, this is a very widely understood concept with like a lot of communities around the world that they believe you can have multiple loves. So it's like, maybe it's not that far-fetched to say I have multiple soulmates.
Yeah.
Just depends on what the weight, I guess, you put on that word, and like what that means to you.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
All right. So speaking of people who put a lot of weight on that definition of soulmate being like the one person, the person that completes you. We've heard that a few times already. They complete me. How does that impact the way we date? Like this idea of searching for your soulmate, like we said, love is blind. Rinsed. It gets rinsed.
The one.
The one. I'm searching for the one. I want to marry my soulmate. I'm looking for that person that completes me. How is this impacting the way we date? Because Pip and I were like, I feel like the obsession, this idea that there's one person that defies all odds, our twin flame, our lover, our soulmate, our best friend, all wrapped in one, has a bit of a negative impact, I think, on the way we date.
I think it can edge into like a little bit of a danger zone.
Yeah.
But yeah, we heard from you in our DMs about your thoughts on this. We got this voice memo from Rick.
I don't think myself and my partner are soulmates. I think we're sort of close, but I don't think we are. And I'm really happy about that. I'm happy to be with someone that is amazing and close enough to the idea of soulmates. I'm not even sure if soulmates are real or if true love is or that special someone. I don't know. But I know she's not my Princess Buttercup to my Wesley. And that's fine. We're having fun. We're enjoying it. Especially in a time like now where I think romance is a bit tough to pull off. And especially when there's lots of icks and red flags and so forth. I'm happy where I'm at now. I'm grateful for it.
Okay, so Rick is obviously not dating with the one in mind. He is not obsessed with the
I feel
concept.
like he's so close to the point. He's really close to the point. I feel like I get what he's trying to say.
I totally get you.
And I don't know how long they've been dating, but if I was Miss Ma'am
Hearing that,
I'd
be a little bummed out. I think it's totally fine to live your life and be like Rick, how he's like, I don't really know if it exists. I'm dating because I'm getting along with this person. We're having a great time. Let's not put pressure on it.
Yeah.
Let's just like be who we are and work in this relationship. But Rick, I'm like, it's okay to call your partner somebody special to you. Like him being like, she's not my Princess Buttercup to my Wesley. Like,
But maybe, we just don't know the dynamic. Maybe
perhaps
it's casually dating.
maybe they've only been dating for
Maybe
like
it's
a couple months.
fresh. Or maybe it's been long and they're both happy with that.
I totally understand what he's trying to say. I think at baseline level, I'm kind of like, yeah, I do kind of agree with what you're putting out here. But I still think that if I was hearing that, I would be a little bit like, why aren't I special to you? And it's okay, like, if you don't want to call someone your soulmate, but I'm also like, it's okay if you want to like show up for them and be like, you are my special somebody. And like, maybe we're not like destined to be together, but I still like love you and I want to work for it. But also, again, how long have they been dating for?
Yeah, we just
Who
don't
knows?
know.
We just don't know.
Maybe he's just being a realist and that
Yeah.
and that works for them. Because, you know, we did mention the post-romantic era. I feel like he's kind of got that hat on. But maybe this is us like really leading into the Disney princess of it all.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But we wanted to know like kind of where you sat with it. So once again, we did a poll. We said, are you dating to find your soulmate or perfect person? 58% of you said no. So 42% of you said yes.
A part of me kind of like loves the romance of that and the hopefulness of that. But then the other part of me is like cynical and I'm like, I wonder when it comes to like dating with that intention, how much you are potentially not giving people the chance.
Yeah.
Because you are expecting to just like meet this person and just know.
Yeah.
Which we're going to get into the whole like our soulmates built. But it does worry me that if people are like, I need to find my perfect person, I don't think perfect people exist.
Yeah. And there's something about the word soulmate that implies that you don't have to put effort in and that it's going to be like wonderful rainbows, amazing journey with this person. But there's something to be said that like every relationship is going to have imperfections and tough times. So yeah, I think there's quite a few things that you like sent to us in the DMs, like identifying that kind of danger zone of like where your reaction to the idea of soulmate is like, okay, but it can have some negative outcomes. It can be a little bit prickly. Nathaniel messaged us and was like talking about like the romanticizing of it can be kind of dangerous.
You don't need to mythologize a deep romantic bond as the one above all. You don't need to find your other half. You're a complete, full person that is capable of making deep bonds with the people, animals, and places that are here around you right now.
I hate to bring it back to Love is Blind, but I'm gonna. At the end, right? At the very end, there was a certain contestant that said, like, I want this. Like, I want my fairy tale ending. Like, I want my soulmate. I want my unconditional love, and I'm not going to accept any less. Like, and I remember watching it, and I don't know if you had the same reaction, but I was like, you can live and have this, like, beautiful love with other people, with your friends, with yourself. Like, and I was like, it's just unrealistic.
Well, it's setting yourself up in a way for failure because, like, that is not guaranteed, right? So like you're almost dismissing, which is kind of what I was saying before when you're dating, like if you are like full hooked on this idea that you're going to like only be with this soulmate, this person, the one, and then everyone around you who you kind of have a little bit of a connection with and like it could potentially turn into something more or like you're just not giving them the chance.
Yeah.
Because you're like, nah, it's not perfect.
Yeah.
Or they're not perfect.
Yeah.
And my soul's not set on fire. And I just think that like, yeah, you might be on a bit of a lonely journey.
Yeah.
A lot of you DM'd us saying this. You were like, I met my soulmate, but then that pressure and that expectation turned out to actually ruin the relationship. Nikki sent us a voice memo saying, I thought I had my soulmate, but then we had so many ups and downs. And it actually turned out to be like a quite toxic relationship.
Everything felt so emotional and deep and intense. There was a lot of toxicity as well. So there was a lot of highs and there was a lot of lows. And my most recent ex and I would always say that we were twin flames, but we almost set each other on fire because there was so much intensity in the relationship at times, which makes them very hard to give up and what makes it seem so deep because you're constantly craving that next hit of dopamine. What's the next argument going to be about? What are we going to butt heads about? And then when we're going to make up, it's going to be amazing. My current relationship is a lot more steady and a lot more stable, and I found myself feeling a bit bored and a bit like, oh, but we're not twin flames, and oh, but we're not soulmates, because the relationship is so much calmer and steadier, and we have no arguments and we have no drama. So I think these twin flame connections can be really toxic for some people, and they're not always a good thing.
I think she just summed that up
Yeah.
so well. I think if you're listening to this and you're like, if your body's in like fight or flight with a partner, like, and you're having those really intense highs, like that's not your soulmate. Like you're literally like have an attachment style that's not gelling with the other person.
I think we mistake anxiety for butterflies.
Yeah. I just find it so interesting with Nikki, like comparing her to, let's say, Beck before, who was like, when I met my Uber driver, Chris, and her soulmate of 7 years, she was like, I felt excited but also calm. And I think like what Nikki's saying is like, if you're the type of person that like it has these heightened emotions and you get into these like, you know, really intense relationships, like using the term soulmate can be kind of dangerous because you're putting all that pressure and everything in that one basket with that person, and you're perceiving that to be your soulmate as like a good thing, whereas it's like, oh my God, no, like you don't need to have a relationship where you have like massive fights and you're looking for the dopamine and waiting for that next fight. Like you don't need to do that. You know, speaking of the pressure as well, we got this voice memo from Shah talking about it.
So I was dating this girl who I was fully convinced was my soulmate. I ended up self-sabotaging and ruined the relationship pretty messily. But it then sent me into this massive spiral of like, this is my person, this is my one shot at love, and I've ruined it. It didn't help that the people that I dated afterwards were just not on the same level of connection, which then led to all this comparison of, well, of course they're not, because like that was my soulmate and these people are not. Yeah, and it caused me so much stress, the whole perception that there's like one person out there for you.
Yeah. See, this is where we come back to that whole thing of like, I guess the title of this episode, which is like, is it ruining our dating lives? Like, are you putting too much pressure on finding the one? Are you putting too much pressure on yourself to find somebody who matches all these expectations and is perfect for you? Are you looking for something that might not even exist potentially? Like, are you closing yourself off to potential other connections because you're like, well, they just never compare to my other soulmate?
Also, like we've been saying, ones that can grow.
Yeah.
Which is important to chat about because like you said at the start, like it was actually a quote that kind of sparked this episode to begin with. If soulmates exist, they're not found, they're made. So this idea that people meet, they get a good feeling and then they get to work on building a relationship and you build your soulmate. We asked you, do you think that soulmates are discovered? They're built. 66% of you said yes.
Yeah.
And I like this definition of a soulmate.
Me
think
too.
that this, of all the things that we've kind of unpacked about soulmates, this sits with me the best, I think. Because I like this idea of like having the history, like you said with you and Elias, like, and I've got friends like that, and the ups and downs of years, and just knowing that despite how hard it is to work on relationships, you've still shown up every day and you've committed and you've worked to build this really deep spiritual connection. And to me, that I like that idea of a soulmate.
Me too. I don't like the idea of a soulmate having this like free pass and like go collect your $200 straight away kind of vibe. I am a firm believer in, you know, yes, I think a soulmate could potentially exist, but I'm also like, that doesn't mean it's going to be easy. And this is something that a lot of you actually said to us that you agree with as well. James, shout out James, who actually originally said, this is where that quote's from, by the way. It's from The Good Place. Have you ever seen that show?
No.
It's like where they like go to heaven and they like, there's all these characters and they like exist in like an afterlife.
Oh.
Anyway, so shout out James, who actually said that's where that quote's from. And they were like, I really like this quote as well. And, you know, they sent a voice memo talking about it.
I think modern media, probably since movies and television became a thing, have really idealized the idea that there's one person that you just can't live without, and that person will be perfect, and they can't do anything wrong, and you have to find that person and they complete you. And it really discounts that there's a lot of effort, right? It's not just the movie get to the top of the Empire State Building or make sure you're in the right place at the right time. It's, you know, it's struggle, it's disagreements, it's talking through them. And yeah, that's why I just really love that quote.
I also feel like we haven't touched on this, but like what James is saying, how it's like your whole life purpose is to like find this person, and it's like a whole struggle to like locate them and find them as well. Like that kind of pressure you do not need on yourself right now.
And like no shade at all to people who are like, this person completes me, or I want to find someone that completes me. But I just will never resonate with that. I feel complete.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
and-
don't.
Yeah.
That just does not resonate with me. And even in a friendship space,
yeah.
I don't like. Yeah, like I've got friends that I would consider really deep connections that could border on soulmate, but like that's never coming from a place of completion. And I don't think I'd ever think of a partner in that way. It's like people who add value to my life, and it's like really strong, like love, but it's not like finding my half.
It's so interesting because I literally was like, yeah,
my
best friend does not complete me.
Do you feel like you're not complete?
No.
And that you're looking for something to
I feel
complete you?
completely whole. I feel good.
Doll?
And
I'm
it's
overfilled.
the cup overfilleth. But like, no, I agree. I don't feel like I need somebody to complete me. But then again, I'm like, my definition of it is like not that. And I guess it just comes back to like how you define it maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting. You know, we got a follow-up from Beck as well talking about her experience with Chris, the Uber driver that she met, and now they're together. You know, I really wanted to play this out because I thought it was just like a really good way to sort of wrap this up, because you might have heard Beck's story and been like, this is a crazy love story. Like, this is so perfect. Like, how is it that this even happened? And she was actually like, no, soulmates, like, it doesn't mean you're codependent. It doesn't mean it's going to be a perfect ride. And this is what she had to say.
Soulmate to me doesn't necessarily mean being obsessive or being codependent. Chris and I actually dated each other while being non-exclusive for 6 months before we decided to be exclusive to each other and go into a relationship.
I just think that's important to point out, because you might have heard her story and been like, damn, I wish I had that love story. But Beck was literally like, we were non-exclusive for 6 months, even though we had this insane meeting, the date the same night, spent 3 days together afterwards. You immediately have this crazy connection with someone. And she's like, clearly, he's my soulmate. But it's like, they still were like dating around for 6 months while figuring it out. So
and
that was important.
I would add it's not really a hot take, but my little take on people who use the term soulmate to describe their partners. I wonder if you would have used that term a week in, a day in. I think that it is a term that people like to use when they are looking back on a relationship that they're like deeply in, maybe years have gone by. And it's like in Beck's experience, like even she said, we weren't exclusive, we dated, blah, blah, blah. Like they had a really strong connection, but it's like the story, people love the story of like, despite all odds, we met. But how many people, despite all odds, have you maybe had like a chemistry with, a connection with, and nothing has happened?
Yeah.
But if that person, like, despite all odds, you had continued to date or continued to build a relationship with, whether that's a friendship or whatever, then you can add the term, because you're like, wow, 5 years fucking later, and despite all odds, we are here, we have gone through shit, we have worked in our relationship, and this is such a special connection that I'm going to use the term soulmate. So it's almost, that kind of, for me, really resonates with the built definition, because I'm like, there might be the odd person out there that's like, I just met that person, they're my soulmate, but I doubt it. Do you know what I mean? I doubt it. It's something that people use to describe a story that they're just like, look at how amazing this relationship that I've built is.
Adding the mayo, if you will.
Adding the mayo, if you will.
Adding the mayo.
You see it at weddings.
Okay, so huge topic. I think I do agree with you on this, but I also am like, everyone has a different definition. Everyone has like a different soul connection with people. People having soul connection with chickens.
And I love that.
I love it. Obsessed with that. I think this is such a fun topic, and if you have anything else to add, please get in our DMs at Triple J the Hookup. That's where you can find us. And if you ever want us to cover anything, let us know.
Yeah, I feel like we didn't really land.
I don't know if we landed,
but it was
anywhere.
a journey, and it was fun. And yeah, I feel like if there's anything else that you feel like we've missed, or like if you've learned from this episode, and you're like, actually,
yeah, maybe people listening to this and they're like, you should strive for perfection when dating. You should be looking for your soulmate. TBC.
Okay. All right. Illy, bye.
Bye.